How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we are going over my Garlic Junior deck list that I took part in the Webcam Locals last Friday and ended up placing, I think, second with as well. Yeah, this is a deck that I've had a lot of fun playing and did Fairygraph with, and it was nice to put it into practice, and it was so much fun. And the reason I started playing this deck is because it's got an Alternative Awakening where if you have a Unison with a specific cost of 3 and it's yellow, you can flip over, well, you can trigger the Awaken. And in the recent set 17, we got a brand new one, and that is the SS2 Gohan Unison. And that's a nice one because it's a Unison with a +1 to draw, which is fantastic. It's nice to have +1 draws on Unisons, and it has a really nice strong effect to help finish off by making itself a triple strike with its -3 to give your leader 5k, itself 5k, and itself triple strike. And due to the fact that it has Empower, it means if you have one on board that can -3, you can do that, get 3 attacks in, and then pay 3 to play a new one, which carries over the remaining markers had on it over to it. And since you're paying 3 anyway, you're getting enough markers to do another -3 to push forward, making your leader at least a 25k. And also getting a load of attacks from Unison, which gets through things like Mecha Floodgate, which is fantastic. And plus, being yellow, it has access to a lot of good yellow tools, so it's quite fun. And it has a nice little package as well, which actually is quite useful to help you get quite a bit of draw. I think in one of my games I had like a 15 card hand where I was just able to draw loads, but also putting stuff down to try and push. So without further ado, before we get into the video, I do want to say if you're not subscribed already, feel free to subscribe. It keeps you updated with my video as and when they drop. And also, since we hit 400 subs, we have a giveaway going on, which you can check in a video from the date, I think yesterday, I think it was. And as well as that, by clicking the notification bell, you get alerts as to when my videos do drop, and then you can help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs, which we're almost halfway to, which is fantastic. The giveaway also runs until the end of August, so you've got plenty of time to subscribe, meet the conditions for it in the giveaway video, and be in a chance to win a premium set of the Senkai series, set 1. And also, as well as that, if you do like the video and do like my deck profiles and any of my other videos, then feel free to drop a like to let me know. And also comment down below if you want to comment anything. Feel free to do it, start some conversation, join in the conversation, and get a bit of discussion going. So without further ado, once again, let's have a look at the list. So, if you don't know what Garlic does, it's a leader back from set 11, back when we had all those busted decks like Dark Broly with the green Gotenks. We had the as well that Blue Baby. We also had Red Broly. All those kind of decks, all those very strong decks. And this is one of the yellow decks. I was overshadowed by Higher Dragon, and it was a really fun one. Like when it first came out, it looked quite strong, but it turned out to be just a nice little fun deck. And because that, it came out in a set where we got the Overlord skill, which, if you don't know what Overlord does, it's an effect that's once per turn that allows you to place one card in your battle area that has Servant to the bottom of your deck, and then draw a card. So it means you can put back in the deck to draw again to increase your deck size when your battle cards with the Servant skill, and gain cards, which is quite cool. And that's relevant because the cards with Servant, if they've got Servant, they gain an extra 10k permanently on the battle area, and when they are in rest mode, they can't switch to active mode in your charge step, so they can't restand at the start of your turn. They just stay stuck. That's why it's nice to get rid of them to draw a card, make use of that. And it's got that on both sides, and on both sides it also has an auto where when it attacks it draws 1, so you're drawing on both sides before, so you're not stuck not drawing any cards before you awaken, which is great. And as I said, it's got an awaken which has an alternative awaken, so it's either when your life's at 4 or less, or if you have a yellow Unison with a specific cost of 3 in your Unison area, you can draw 1 card, untap 1, take your life down to 6 if you're higher than 6, and then flip it over. So normally you're awakening it by the latest turn 3, really, because you're going to hopefully have that Unison play, so you can turn 3, drop the Unison, get the awaken as well. which is great. And as I said, it has both the first two skills, Overlord and the Auto, on the Awaken side, but now on the Awaken side, the Awaken is replaced with an Auto, which is when your opponent attacks, you can play one Yellow Demon Clan from your hand with energy cost of 2 or less. And if you do negate, play it in rest mode, and if you do, negate the skill for the duration of the turn. So it's quite nice. So when your opponent attacks, you get to play in rest mode when your Yellow Demon Clans, mostly the ones with Servant, and then negate that skill for the turn. Because it's optional, you get to choose on which attack you want to use it on, which is great. So you have to do it on the first attack. You can do it on whenever attack you want to. And it's nice because some of these Servant cards, these Yellow Demon Clans, have effects that are quite beneficial, which we'll go over. So that is it for the leader. So not the most difficult of leaders to understand. It's got the Overlord does give you a bit more draw, which is nice. You're drawing from swinging, you're drawing for turn, you're drawing for an Overlord as well. It's quite nice. And the nice thing about that is you get to play the Demon Clan in your opponent's turn, and then when it comes to your turn, if it's still there, you get to sack it off with Overlord, which is great. So you're not really losing the card, you're gaining it back. So starting off with the Unison, this is the Unison I was talking about, SS2 Son Gohan Z Fighter. So it's fantastic. It's a 20k base as well, free specified cost. It's got Empower free, so what Empower means is if you replace another copy of the Unison while playing one, you get the carryover up to 3 markers from the previous one over. So it's quite nice where, as I said, if you use the -3 and it's still got markers on, you get, when you play a new one, you get to carry those over to do it again. And also has blockers. If you wanted to use it as defensively to help defend you, you can always use it as a blocker. And it's also got a nice Auto which adds to barrier removal, which every deck should have. And that's when it's played, you can when this card is played, you choose cards your opponent controls, ignoring barrier, or battle cards your opponent controls in rest mode, ignoring barrier, up to X cost, and X being the number of unisons you have in drop. So when you play the first one, you're not going to get this effect off because you'll have no unisons. But when you play the second, third, or fourth one, you then get the pop stuff in your opponent's battle area. That is in rest mode, depending on how many unisons you got in drop. So when you play the second one, you get the pop 1, third 2, and if you get to the fourth, 3, which is cool. And as I said, it's +1 is just draw card, which is fantastic. Adds the more draw to the deck to get more defense and to give more advantage. And it's -3, as I said as well. Is you choose your leader card, and then both your leader card and this card gain 5k power, and also the Unison gains triples, or it gains that 5k until the end of your opponent's next turn, and Gohan also gains triple attack for the turn. So you get 25k triple attack in Unison, and you give your leader a boost of 5k until the end of your opponent's next turn, meaning it's like a bean, which is quite nice. So you can sack as a 20k base, it'll be a 20k base in your opponent's turn to help defend easier. So we play with this as a 4/4 copies because it's just that fantastic. And then for the Demon Clan, we play off a leader. We've got first of all Chi-Chi, which is probably the better one, and this is the one mainly you mainly play off your Unison. Because his effect is it's got Servant, 2 cost 10k, so it's essentially 20k when it's on board because it's Servant. And its also is when this card is played, and remember you go play this off your leader as well. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and or Unison cards and switch it to rest mode. So this is quite nice where if your opponent attacks with a leader first to get that draw, you can play this off your lead and then rest the Unison down because you don't get to tackle the Unison. And if they don't have a Unison, you can switch a battle card, which is quite cool. So we play full 4 copies of this because it's nice just to play this when your opponent attacks, rest one of the battle cards of Unisons, and then if it survives to your turn, you just sack it off to draw one with your opponent, with your leader's Overlord. The next one to help us see through the deck a bit better is Master Roshi Demonic Transformation. So these ones all have the same kind of skill with a 20k, 10k Servant, but they've got different autos, or might not even have an auto. And Roshi's auto is when this card is played, you draw a card, but then you can't activate this card's auto on all copies of the card for the turn. So it's essentially limit before we had limit. So you can actually activate 1 Roshi draw per turn, no matter how many you play. So this is great, so you can play it off your lead, to draw once you replace it playing this on the board, then your turn sack it off with Overlord to draw another card, which is quite cool. And then we have Yamcha Demonic Transformation. Now this guy is like his only different skill that isn't Servant is he's got blocker. So he's a blocker. He's got what we're going to play off a fill card, which we'll see in a bit. And then the last one that isn't a servant card but has actually utility to help us get our field card is Gasu of the Demonic Elite Four. So he's useful because of his activate main, where if your leader card is a Yellow Demon Clan and you discard this card from your hand and up to one Makyo star from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. And that's how we get our, start getting the draw until we flip over, because what Makyo does, what we'll see in a bit, is mainly the way to play out these guys until we get to Awaken turn, and it's normally your turn 1 play what you want to start off with. And by having 4 of this, and we have also 3 copies of Makyo Star, it means we're technically running 7 copies of the field as well, which is handy. And even if we see more fields later on, you can always charge them because they add to some other yellow cards we'll see in a bit. And it also does have another effect, which is an auto by paying 1 yellow. If your leader card is a Yellow Demon Clan, when you activate an Overlord skill, you can play this card from your hand. So if you have more copies of this in your hand and energy to spare, you can play this out when you Overlord by sending the card to the bottom to draw 1 to get out like a 1 cost 15k. Rarely ever use this. Normally I use this charge combo if I'm not using it to find the field card, but that effect can come in. And then we have the Makyo Star, which is the field card. So this is what you want turn 1, and it's really nice. It helps you, you got a little bit of deck fittingness with Gasu finding Makyo Star, and Makyo Star's first auto is when it's played. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add to 1 Yellow Demon Clan among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So you can use Gasu to search for Makyo Star to search for one of Chi-Chi, Roshi, or Yamcha. You mainly want Yamcha for the early turns until you get turn 3, because he can at least block attacks, defend you against aggro and stuff like that. And they're played out for your Makyo Star by a second auto, where if your leader card is a Yellow Demon Clan, at the end of your turn you choose up to 1 Yellow Demon Clan with energy cost of 2 or less from your hand and play it with the skills negated for the turn. So this is relevant because it means that Roshi isn't going to get his draw off this, which is a shame. It would be nice if they just played it I don't think it'd be that busted, but yeah, so that's why you normally want to play Yamcha, because it comes with skills negated for the turn, so it has a blocker, but as soon as it passes to your opponent's turn, because at the end of the turn, it then has blocker to help defend. So you mainly want to play Chi-Chi and Roshi off your leader's Awaken side, and Yamcha off Makyo Star. So that is it for the little package, the little core of the deck to help go with the leader, the little theme that most decks have. And now for the rest of the yellow cards, we have 3 of the Lord Slug Evil Invader and 4 of the Lord Slug Super Namekian. This is just one of the best cards in yellow, just because it's every deck has a draw. There's quite a bit of draw in Dragon Ball Super card game and all decks. But this is a nice way to shut the draw off your opponent. So if they've got a lot of draw outside the leader, you can shut that right off, and it's hard to interact with because that's barrier. So the 1-drop Lord Slug Evil Invader, he's got an auto where it's just cantrip, draw 1, and then he's got never skill with his activate main, which is once per turn. By paying 1 yellow, you get to choose 1 or 2 effects. The main one you're going to use is to choose up to one Slug's army card with original energy cost of 3 or less from your hand. Play it and place this card in the drop area. That's the main one you're going to do, because that then lets you play out the Lord Slug Super Namekian. It does have the other one. The other option is choose one of your opponent's battle cards, which is rest mode. This could be handy just to rest your opponent's blockers if you need to and you've got the energy spare, and it also allows you to trigger Poutine as well, which we'll see in a bit. But yeah, with Lord Slug Super Namekian, it's unique barrier. I mean, you can only have 1, which would be if you could have more than 1, it would be busted. You just assemble loads of these, and they all trigger together to make it so your opponent's really never going to draw anything outside the leader. And it stops your opponent from drawing because it was permanent. We're Bond 2, so with him and something else, which you're normally going to have a Demon Clan on Demonic Transformation card on the board, is when it's cards in rest mode, your opponent can't add cards from the deck to the hand using non-leader card skills, which means unless they draw from the leader, they're not drawing at all while it's just card in rest mode with an air battle card on board. And also, we play 4 of that, 3 of the Lord Slug Evil Invader, because even if you have multiple Lord Slug Super Namekian in hand, you can use his activate main by paying 1 yellow to tutor the 1-drop in, because it's if your leader card is yellow or a Slug's army, and you discard this card from your hand, you can play up to 1 Slug's army card with energy cost of 1 from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So if you have multiple of the 3 drops, you can at least use out the deck fin and get the 1-drop out straight from your deck, then straight away play out the 3-drop from the other 3-drop from your hand. And then we've got Mecha Frieza and Robotic Repose. This is the floodgate for the deck, and why, if you get multiple Makyo stars, it's not too bad because you can always charge them. because it's just a nice to get the attack, which is reduced by 2 if your leader card. It's reduced by 1 for every extra card in your drop or energy, and it's a floodgate because when you play this card, each time your opponent will attack for the rest of the turn with a non-unison card, they have to rest 1 card to do so. So if they want to attack, they have to rest a card. If they can't rest a card, they can't attack. And then we have 2 Basil Fatal Rampage, just a cantrip because it's play draw 1, and its activate main being fantastic in if your opponent has 5 cards rested, which is easy to do for a yellow deck. Then it gains, it becomes a 90k dual attacker until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is until the start of your next main phase, which is really good. And we play 2 because it's got essentially a permanent that counts as unique, so we can't play multiple on turn, but you can play 1, use the effect, swing with it, then when it restands, because it's dual attack, swing with something else, combo off, play another 1 to get 2 more swings in. That's a possibility. And then we're playing super combo wise, we're playing 2 of the Krillin moments before comeback. This is the series of from set 11 of super combos, which are just busted because as soon as you get a 4 life, this helps you fill your hand a lot easier by bottom decking a card to draw 2 brand new cards. So if you're just stuck with a load of cards in your hand, or say you've got too many units in your hand, or you've got some extra cards that you can't play, you can pop them to the bottom of the deck to hopefully draw some new cards that you actually can use, and yeah, combat attacks. And then with that we play 1 Zamasu Sacred Disbelief. This is a nice way to help manage turns easy, and also combo without getting down to 4 life. And allows you to help mitigate aggression by being able to combat 1 attack and rest down another 1, as well as also another way to help trigger Poutine the drop. And then the last super combo we have, because as you'll probably tell by now if we're playing 2 and 1, then we're playing the secret rare Piccolo and Gohan Newfound Might. So this is a fantastic one. It's one of the secret rares from the last set we got, with the set 17 and the last of the Unison Warrior series block. And it's a super combo that also has it's a super combo that is a secret rare as well. This is, I think, the first one we've had, and it's got 2 permanents. So the first one is, well, one of them is the standard that we've been getting now, where if it be removed from the battle area, it's removed from the game instead. And it also has an error permanent because it's a, if you can't see, its combo cost is 5 for 30,000. So you need to pay 5 for to combo 30,000 battle card, which seems like it's not worth it, but that's not going to be a case because just like Basil has got an effect, it's got a permanent where for each card your opponent has in rest mode, it reduces the combo cost of this card by 1. So like how Basil needs 5 cards in rest for the activate main, if your opponent has 5 cards in rest, this becomes a 30k combo, super combo, which is amazing. Like, helps finish off games, like push for damage. And not only that, but it's got 2 autos. The first one being if your leading card is a yellow or a Sun Gohan Adolescence or Piccolo, at the end of a battle, when this card is using a combo from your hand, you play this card from your drop area. And then it's got this other autos when it's played or when it attacks, you draw a card, then choose it to one of your opponent's unison cards or battle cards and switch to rest mode. So another way to trigger Poutine. Also a 30k combo that then plays itself is amazing, and also as well as that, if you play it offensively, you're getting 2 draws because you got play it, draw, tap, and then swing, draw, tap. But if you play it defensively, you get you get 1 draw and 1 tap, and then hope it survives until your turn. But this is fantastic. I didn't have this for the tournament because I haven't got it yet, because I want to invest in the SSB Vegeta for my red decks instead of this one. But I will be getting this as soon as I come off my holiday later on in the month, because it's just the best generic, yellow super secret rare, and not every deck, like some decks do run Cell, but this is a more generic one. And then for our last 2 battle cards, because you can see Makyo starts there, we have our overrun being Mirror Assault from the Skies, because we don't really need our drop area for much, apart from Mecha, but we can always charge extra cards to make it so it's always live and still use our overrun. So we have Mirror Assault from the Skies being our overrun to help finish, because it's a 30k double striker, which is good. You don't have to pay 1 and have 7 in drop to overrun, that's not too bad, because you get that energy back, because its auto is when this card is played, you draw a card, so you get an extra card to help aggress, like try and push. hopefully like a combo card as well. And then at the start of your opponent's opponent's main phase, you choose one of your energy and switch to active mode. So even though you're paying 1 to drop this, you're getting it back. So if you don't kill them, you still have an energy open for riposte stuff. And yeah, being a 30k double strike is a lot better to finish your opponent off, as well as you get a new card when you play it as well. Like most of this deck draws, and you can get quite a beefy hand. And then the last two is Poutine. Like, I don't know why this card isn't banned yet, because the versions of it for the other colors were banned, and this is just obscene. It's got barrier and unique, I mean you can only control one, and it's hard to interact with, and it's triggered by quite a few things in here. Because if you don't know why, it's like how it's triggered is when you switch one of your opponent's cards to rest mode, you get to play it from your hand for free. And then its ever also is once per turn, when your opponent will either play a battle card using a skill or activate a counter skill, you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode, which means the first thing they play every turn by a skill, you get to rest it, which is annoying for your opponent but great for you. And it just makes it difficult for your opponent to, like, they have to think about sequencing, which we know a lot of people in the game don't do very well. But that's all the battle cards. And then for extra cards, along with Makyo Star, we have 2 copies of Vegeta's Final Flash. Like, every deck needs barrier removal, and this is kind of like barrier ignorance, because not only do you ignore, like, you just ignore what they've got with barrier by just shutting off the skills for the turn, and also giving one of your swings that isn't unison an extra 15k, which is fantastic. And this is almost as good as barrier removal, because if you don't need to remove it straight away and you're going for the kill turn anyway, you just shut off something called their skills, or even if they have by shutting off the skills, it means they don't have barrier or anything like that, so you can then start resting it, sacking into it, popping it, so you don't have to worry too much. But this just means that if they got something that's annoying with barrier, at any point you can shut it off if you wanted to. And then the last 3 ones, we've got Power of Super Saiyan. It's busted. Like, if it's limited for a reason, so we're going to play that one because it just gives you extra, like a trigger of Poutine, extra be able to just rest like for free, and replaces it off by drawing as well. And it could be a counter attack if you really need to. And then we have 1 copy of Release from Evil. This is something I like to have in there just against some finishes, because sometimes you have people going on, and also I've personally been playing and enjoying the Crimson Turn 2 Kill, which is a horrible deck to play against, but a fun deck to play though. And there's some games where like your opponent would go all in with their like last swing as a big finisher, or want to drop champ on it, and Release from Evil is a good way to just shut that down by just ending their skills. And it's for free with a unison, so once you've got a unison out, which is what you're aiming to do, get turn free, you can have this for free just to go on that big swing you're going in with to try and drop double, triple strike or anything like that. That's Release from Evil, like the negate skills. And if it's got dual attack or triple attack, it can't untap, because it not only just negates the skills, it also makes it so it can't restand until the end of the end of the turn. I think it is until the start of start of the next turn. They can't restand with it, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's one of those cards that was like, it's the yellow version of the cards that are like dormant and stuff. Like it's not the worst one because it's the blue one. The blue one's the worst, but it's one that hasn't seen much play outside of tech choices for certain things. And given the meta now, we're getting like big finishers that can attack multiple times or like have double strike and stuff. It's a good choice for yellow decks to have in. Then the last one we have is our token negate, being 3 copies of Frieza Army. This is just fantastic because, well, you go down to 6, but then you can always take more damage, and it just means that if you go down to 5 or less life and you want to defend these here, a token negate is fantastic. You can negate 1 attack, then play a token that you can block with a second attack. And given the fact that we have things like Poutine and Mecha, it's going to be very hard for your opponent to kill you through all your defense. And that is the list. This is not, as I said, this is not the exact list I played on Friday, because, as I said, I don't have the Piccolo and Son Gohan secret rare. So what I had to do, what I decided to do was cut. Since I didn't have this, I decided to cut Release from Evil to the side deck and put in a 3rd copy of Krillin, so I had 4 super combos still, and put the secret rare as as Pan instead. because I thought Pan would be a good alternative because the fact that where I could spam the board, like I'm trying to get Slug out, I can use Mecha to negate play that, and Basil, and also my Demon Clan, as well as Poutine as well. I could easy enough get 4 on board, even using my opponent's board as well, because Pan counts both sides, to get an extra push if need be, which actually did help in one game, be able to push through after I got dormanted, and also use it as like a floodgate negate as well if needed. But that's the main deck. I do have a side deck as well. So for my side deck, I had the 2 copies of the SS Trunks, Altering the Future, and I thought that would be helpful for decks that just like the pop out board for free, like things like Gamma and stuff. They're trying to pop out guys. Instead of getting the +1 every turn, you can get this out and just go right, go and rest and pop it, which is handy. Which could be handy. I didn't really go against anything to use it, or I didn't put in against the Gamma deck I played, because I didn't decide properly for the Gamma deck because I forgot things like Tyrannical Blow. Then we have 2 Chi-Chi Matriarch, which is for our blue hate, so it means if you, like mostly all decks, blue decks play D-Magic, so we put this in if they tap out and want a D-Magic energy back, they're gonna lose 1 of the energy at least and a life. Do you have Mutaito? I put this in for just in case I can play against U7, so that way if they drop their big Goku or even the Vegeta, they can't attack with it, and it's like it's putting rest and switch to active mode. Mainly shut that one play down because you can manage the rest of the board. And Jiren, this is something I didn't play on the Friday, but I put in afterwards because I forgot that we're not playing the end quickly. We're playing the outgrind resources, and as we like against Gamma and blue decks, they play Turn the Tide, so we need something against that. So I've put in 1 copy of Jiren as well as fits, because by the time we get to turn 7, we will draw enough to find this, and this is in your life. And you can normally check if this is in your life, but when you turn 1 try to use Gas U to get Makyo Star, you can normally see if this is in your deck or if you reach for your life for it. And we've got 2 copies of Retaliation Ghoul. I don't have this in the main because, as I said, we're not trying to push through damage, we're trying to outgrind the resources, grind them down. And this is for if you're going against certain decks that have floodgates and you want to just stop that while you try to push, then you can. Because normally when you get turn 6, you're hopefully having a Unison board that you can -3, playing in everyone and having this to make sure that goes through sort of floodgate. And then we have Son Goku Absolute Annihilation. This to help deal with decks that have a heavy reliance on extra cards, or if the opponent taps out and they rely on like token negating stuff to play, that means having this on board means they don't have the option if they've tapped out, because it means that if they want to play an extra card, they have to switch 1 energy to rest. If they're tapped out, they can't do that. Then we had 1 copy of Clan of Terra Mecha Frieza. This is because you can play off the Mecha Frieza's activate main by paying 2, choose the 1 yellow Frieza with energy cost of 4 and Mecha its card name from your hand, play on top of this card. So you can play this from your hand, so that way you can play this, then use the ulti to look at your opponent's hand. Well, yeah, have your opponent reveal the hand and play a battle card among the hand in rest mode. You don't have to play the card because it says choose up to 1. So you get the main thing about this is you get a look at their hand, see what they have, wherever you feel if you can push through or not, and get to play something as well. Which even though you might think is not great to play something, but playing a super combo that they had in hand in rest mode is great because they can't combo that off and they don't have access to that defend with, and at the very least you can swing into it if you feel you can't kill them at a turn at least. And then for the extra cards extra, we had an extra copy of Release from Evil. Just if we felt we need 1 more, we had 1 more, and 2 Tyrannical Blow. This is probably what I might put up to 3. Because it can, just helps with some like little floodgates, like playing against like Gamma is a popular one, and using that 14 negate over and over again is annoying. And plus, this is handy where if you try to attack and they want to use a floodgate, you can use this to then shut off their Unison. So if they got the Boo Unison, shut off using its effects or blocking, and also stop the floodgate from actually triggering the floodgate. Really, they can still apply it, but they just don't get to stop you from basically attacking for the turn. And this is what I forgot the side in against Gamma on the webcam locals. But that's the deck with main aside. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope if you do want to try it out, you can always change it up however you want. But this is how I felt comfortable with, and I'm going to be playing this more in the future as well because I'm really enjoying this. And it's like, yeah, because Garlic was something I was interested in when the set 11 came out, but it just didn't have the stuff to keep up with things like Dark Broly and stuff. And there's every other decks that are quite like a lot stronger, but this is more like a lot more fun now. We've got a unison, like a decent unison to awaken with, and some other good yellow stuff since then. So that is it from me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed the list. And after it, as also, once you like, comment, subscribe, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.